Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do another Sunday album share with you. We are on to the second half of 2015, so let's dig right in. I'm doing this during the day, so hopefully there's not too much glare, and we can have some fun this afternoon. So I am kicking it. Let's see, that's not too bad, is it? Really wish there wasn't so much glare. We are starting with July 1st, so I try to fit 6 months in an album if possible, and it works sometimes it doesn't, but to start it off, so this was Jackson's first trip to the official first trip to the beach. We did take him once when he was still a baby, but it didn't really count that, and so he had so much fun, and this is what started our annual Canada Day beach trip, is this this fun day that we had here. I did some mixed media with this fun stencil that I have. I love the stencil. I use it often, and just a little bit of embellishing, an older line from Maggie Holmes that did kind of say beach theme, and then just some journaling and a tiny bit of embellishing here. And that has it, and just that cute photo of my son. And then Canada Day kind of stretches out a bit. Oh, I'm not sure why this one's here. This one should say 2015. That's part of my problem, I think. Or I have it in the wrong spot. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that. Here's a couple more photos from that day. I did a fun, what do you call that? Triangle effect. So they're a little off-centered, but the triangles fit into the photos. And this is just documenting summer. And this is just saying how this was my favorite day of summer for that year. So I like it. This layout doesn't belong in this year. I have it in the wrong year. So that needs to go out. So there was a layout here. We'll have to adjust that. And then here's another one of Jackson, and it just says all he needs is a beach and a ball, because he loved it. He ran around happy, smiling, and he really enjoyed his day. There's that fun little curtain type style I like to do. I don't do it quite as often. I would like to bring that back a little bit as well. I do really love that, and I did something a little bit different here where I journaled over a bunch of different pieces. That's very Chamel Lane-ish. I was obviously inspired by her to do that, so there's that one. Talking about my style when I was 28, and just how I'm comfortable in my clothing style now, and how it's nice to be able to feel comfortable in, not so much in my skin necessarily, but just in my style, and I like my style and where it's at and how it's grown over the years. This was documenting my birthday for 2015. We got these really yummy, they were croissants that had chocolate over them and some whipped cream. They were delicious. So it was my breakfast for my birthday, and I loved them so much. So just a nice little cluster, half little thing. I did this a lot too, where the top half was one and the bottom would probably be white or whatnot, and then just some embellishing and the journaling down at the bottom. I really like the way the orientation of this layout with the journaling down at the bottom, so I should do that one again as well. Here's a 9x12 about Jackson reading. He is not much of a reader. It's not his first thing to do, so when he is wanting to, it's fun to document that, and that's exactly what this is talking about, with four little with the little 4x4 squares here. Maybe they're 3x3, so I really like those, and it's exactly what it says. So Jackson hasn't been the biggest fan of books. He mostly just dumps them out of the basket so he can put them all back in. So when I found him looking at a book this morning, my whole heart smiled. I'm a huge reader, and I pray with time Jackson will be too. But for now, I'll take these small moments of interest and hope they spark his imagination. So love. And then it goes into this fun layout that I created using scraps. I remember creating this, and this was his very first night getting to stay with, this is Sean's dad and stepmom, and Jackson got to start spending the night with them, and it's an ongoing thing. About every other month or so he goes and spends the night at Grandpa's house, and he loves it. And that's just kind of what this talks about, is the start of all of that. And it's a long running thing, and actually Nora gets to start having sleepovers there as well, starting I think we're starting it from Labor Day, so that'll be fun. And here's one. I love these photos. Okay, so this is a pretty simple layout. And I've got this journaling that just says, these two are attached at the hip from the moment Sean gets home until Jackson's bedtime. I love watching them interact every day. Sean is proving to be the best father ever. I always knew he was going to be a good dad, just never realized how good. And that is just giving Jackson the room to grow up healthy and self-confident. And then I had just enough of these puffy stickers left over to use. So I love that. But what I love most about this layout is once I can do it and I have the marking of it, I'll put a little slice here, and then there's another photo of them being adorable, and then it's the exact same journaling because I had meant for it to be like that, but then I needed this space filled, and so I filled it with journaling, and so it's just double journaling, which is silly, but that's okay. I think it's probably this photo, but I really do love that layout. Here's one about me when I was in school for my my dental reception course. So I was in a college where you had to be certified to take x-rays, as well as CPR certified, and as well as everything to do with dental reception as a whole. So it was a little bit more intense than some other dental reception courses, but it was really good knowledge, and it really helped me wrap my brain around the career I was going into and what the dentist and the CDAs and the hygienists do. So it was well worth it. And this is a scrap lift from Mercy Tierra. I really like this layout. And this was just, you remember those Mickey Holmes when she first started with these alpha words blocks, and I just found ones that created a title that worked for me. Did my little bit of journaling and my two photos, so then I like it. Here's one. This is so sweet. I think I was just creating this for a project that needed to be done. I believe it was a Crafty Maven giveaway, but I have this adorable photo. Jackson was so tired, and at this time he's always hard to get to go to bed to begin with, but Sean would take him out. It was September, so it was quite warm still. Sean would take him outside with the breeze and just kind of hold him and relax him. And I just happened to snap this photo of my tired little boy. And that's kind of what this says. So Jackson had a hard time settling down for bedtime during the summer with the sun still up. So Daddy would stand outside with him and let Mother Nature calm him down. Super basic, but it's and I already forgot about this. So it's nice to have these little memories to remember. And there's some of the clouds and just kind of playing. I can see some Amy Tan here. That's Chamel clouds, and yes, I'm pretty sure this was for a Crafty Maven getaway layout though. And here are two of my favorite layouts. This one I did for, I'm not sure what I did it for, to be honest with you, but I love it. It's definitely one of my all-time favorites, even though my stamping is wrong. So it says, I did two separate types of journaling, I believe here, but photos are taken to capture a moment in time that would otherwise be forgotten. Just like this one I took of you early Sunday morning. You have been sleeping through the night for over a year now, which is fantastic, but there are moments when I miss the early morning cuddles to help soothe your fears away. So this morning I snapped this photo to remind myself of you in this moment, still small enough to be my baby. Yeah, I love this layout. So it's really soft. It's just pretty, and look at his eyelashes. Why do boys always have the best eyelashes? And I got a zebra on there, completely random. And then the title is Life at 3 a.m. And then here's another one I really love. This was for my Obsessed series that I used to do with Caddy Miranda using Maggie Holmes. And this is the first time he had a shower, and that was his reaction. He loved it so much, he's like squealing for joy. So cute. So it says, you were so excited when Daddy and I allowed you to have your first shower. You laughed and squealed with joy the entire time. There's just something about water you can't seem to get enough of. Daddy and I are both so proud of you for advancing to this next stage in your nightly routine. Pretty soon, you won't even need to be supervised. So, love it. I love these two layouts. Definitely two of my favorite from that year. Here's one of his sweet little pajamas. Kids have the most adorable pajamas, and I'm trying to capture them so that I can remember, especially with Jackson at the time, because we didn't know we were going to have another boy, so I don't have them anymore. And oh, they were so cute, these little robot pajamas. So definitely wanted to document that, again using some Maggie Holmes bits and pieces along with some other scraps. And it just says, I don't normally care too much about the clothes I get you right now, as you are growing so fast they hardly last, but I really loved these robot jammies. So it's true, I'm not one of those moms that they have to be in fashionable clothes, especially at the toddler stage. Like, they're not going to stay in it long enough to make it matter. So I am all about hand-me-downs and secondhand stores, and I'm about all that stuff. So here's one about my love for pumpkin spice latte and fall. I always have a fall layout to share in my albums because it's my favorite season, as I find it is many of us scrapbookers. And it just says, one of my all-time favorite things about autumn is that very first pumpkin spice latte for the season. I'm the type of person who normally makes my coffee at home, so this special drink is a real treat for me. But most of all, I love how this drink marks the start of my favorite season. Pretty basic, right? But I have tons of layers, and I'm using that beautiful collection from Pink Paisley that came out, that beautiful fall collection, and fun doily, just lots of neat stuff. So, and then that's my photo. And then this was for Lift and Sketch, because I remember it. This cute little photo of my mom holding Jackson's hand, walking to the pumpkin patch, which you can read, and it literally just talks about how she came with us to the pumpkin patch this year and how he was so excited, and she walked with him to see all the animals, and it was really, really fun. So that is what this layout is about, little bits of clusters here and there. And of course I tried to keep it the diagonal this way because the pattern paper was diagonal that way, bordered with some stitching, which really helped kind of bring it all in together and have a grounding effect. And then this is my scrapbook from Paige Evans when she did that stitch star or heart that she had created. I've done this look a couple times, but that's where this originally came from. I drew my own heart as to why it's wonky. So really love that. And it kind of goes in with the layout before that says trip to the patch with Nana, and then he sleeps because he passed out in the car. He had had so much fun that day. And it says, after a fun-filled day at the pumpkin patch, Jackson was sound asleep before we even left the field where we parked. I'm so happy we have started this yearly tradition. So little bits and pieces here and there. I did try to bring in that little bit of a color scheme that was in this frame that I cut in half to make as a border. And one more from that day, even though you wouldn't know because that's not a whole lot about what this is. But I made Sean take a photo with me while we were sitting there, and it just says, I love that whenever I want to take pictures with you, you don't even complain. You just lean in and let me snap away until I feel like I got the perfect shot. You make these little moments so easy, and I love you for that. So gotta get him in there too. Sean is not, he's documented, especially as a father, but our relationship and Sean as Sean isn't documented a whole lot. He's actually the one that kind of gets left out of my scrapbooking more so than myself. So I do try to at least get 1 or 2 layouts about him done a year, and that is one of them. Again, I used to do so much more layering than I do now. I need to bring that back. And this fun little corner piece here, and then I just took the little tip of the, I can't think of what you call that right now. The little tip from the shaker ink, and I just went around it to create that. And then here's one that I love, this one. When Paige Evans came out with a pattern paper that included Canada, at least part of Canada, I was so excited because I could finally use it. So I live right here in Vancouver, just outside of Vancouver, and I was able to put my photo over on this side and then just highlight where I'm from, and then becoming a true Canadian. If you haven't heard the story before, grew up in the States, met Sean, moved up here. My mom is Canadian. She never got rid of her Canadian citizenship when she moved down and married my dad. So I was able to come up here, and I have dual citizenship. But my first real true, I guess, test, I don't know what you want to call it, but I really felt like Canadian when I got to vote for the first time. So that is what this is all about. And I had this fun little overlay thing that I could put on my photo back then for Instagram. So I'm very proud of this layout. It's just, I beam of pride looking at this layout just because it was a fun time. So there's that. And going into carving pumpkin season. This was the first year Jackson was brave enough to put his hand inside the pumpkin. So it was so fun. I was so excited about this. And though you can't tell because the photos are pretty small, he gave himself a black eye right before we did this, so pretty funny. But I love these cute little photos of him, and he's such a sweetheart. He had so much fun. So Jackson was really interested in seeing what Daddy was doing with the big orange thing on the table, but once he saw it was sticky and gooey inside, he had second thoughts and wouldn't put his hand inside. Once Daddy got most of it out, however, Jackson was all for scraping the sides. So he liked it, he didn't like it, a little bit of mixture. This was a banner I really struggled to use, so I was super excited when I got it used on this layout. Not maybe my favorite layout ever, but I definitely think it works, and I'm proud of it. So there's that one. And then there's a big old jump to December and Christmas, because I'm missing part of 2015. I'm missing his actual Halloween costume, and I find that November does not get documented a lot in my albums. I for some reason missed that month a lot, so that is missing in this, and we just jump right into December and Christmas time. And we're gonna have a little helper with us for the rest of this because Barrett has woken up from his nap. So this one I have shared a few different times. This is just a bunch of fun photos of Jackson being silly. We were he's just silly. He's my silly funny boy. Anything he can do to make you laugh, he'll do, which is kind of what this journaling is talking about. It says, I'm really enjoying all the crazy you bring to our everyday life. There is not a day that goes by where you haven't made Daddy and I laugh. I hope this fun and silly nature stays with you as you get older. There is no greater gift than to make one laugh. And he is still my silly goofy kid. He loves to make you laugh. And this title that says My Kind of Crazy is from a country song, I believe. And there's a You Are My Sunshine. So pretty fun. I used a stencil down here and then some mixed media. This is me just testing my mixed media skills. So yeah, I like this layout though. It makes me laugh. He's a sweet boy. December of 2015 was a hard year, like month for me, because I was working and I had to work a bunch of stuff that I had gotten a new job and it just wasn't the right fit. So I worked there for a month before I got into the job I'm in now. So it was just a really hard month. But here is another one. This is my little guy. We still have this towel, believe it or not, as in his little froggy towel. And the moment you're out of the bath, I wrap you in one of your favorite hooded towels and you run full speed into the living room to find Daddy. He helps you to dry off and get into your PJs, and then the biggest tickle fights always break out. I'm so happy you have these little moments in your nightly routine, as I know they won't last forever and I'll miss them. So yeah, just these small moments that, you know, sometimes even now sometimes forget to take these photos. So it's nice to flip through this because it reminds me I should do so. This is a Christmas layout, if you can't tell. This was for one of my 12 days of Christmas that I did with Daisy. And I stitched this fun string of lights and added sequins for the lights. And just a couple photos for me. So there's my little slippers, my wine glass, and this is just some decorations at the house. And it just says there's so many things I love about Christmas, but one of my favorites is the cozy feeling that radiates throughout our home. Pretty like basic concept of a layout, but I really do love it, and I love the way this string of lights turned out. And sorry, I'm doing everything one-handed now. And then there's this one that's documenting living on the red cup and fancy nails. Like I said, it was a hard month for me, and so this is kind of what got me by, is I tried to do small things to make it worth it. So that included it, and it was only hard with my working situation. My family life was just fine. Here's one of my little guys sleeping, and this was the year I kind of tried to use Christmas song titles as my titles. So All Is Calm, with this cute little photo of him sleeping. I loved this paper. This is the pink paisley, like the very first pink paisley Christmas line. So cute. And then there's one that says, "Oh, Christmas tree," and talking about how Jackson was a little more interested in the tree this year. He played with the ornaments constantly, but only broke 2. So we kept the ones that if he had broken them, it wouldn't be a big deal. We kept them lower and let him play with the other ones, and that's kind of what this is talking about. This is a 9x12 layout, but I've put it in here to make it kind of just fit. It's okay that it's not perfect. I just am letting it go because I didn't have another 9x12 to work with it there. Good tidings of comfort and joy. This is our family photo taken for Christmas Eve, and Jackson was not having it. It was pretty cute. So I really do love the way this layout turned out though, and I utilized this fun pattern paper with the squares and clustered my photo there with the journaling on the side. So it's nice, kind of really one-sided. This is a lot of white space for me. I don't normally leave this much white space anymore, but I really do love the way that one turned out. The night before Christmas, and this one just says, I had to work the day of Christmas Eve, so you got to spend the day with Daddy. Grandma picked you up around 2 in the afternoon and brought you to her brother's house so you would get to know everyone and not play shy all evening. When Daddy and I arrived, you were happy to see us, but only because you just had to show us the puppy you had been playing with all day. And that's all you did for the rest of the night, was chase the dog all around the house. But by the end of the night, the poor puppy was all tired out. However, you were still going strong. He loved that dog, and every time we go there, he still plays with that dog. It's really cute. Again, testing the waters of my mixed media in that one. And the Christmas time is here, so that's our Christmas photo for the year. I didn't take a ton. I did, but I didn't take a ton worth documenting. I didn't document Christmas Day yet. That's in my December daily itself, and it just says, every other year we get together with all the family on Sean's side. I always love this time we get to spend together as one big happy family, and this year was no exception. So yeah, I don't know what I'm laughing about, but yeah, it's just a fun photo that Sean's aunt caught of us. And then Boxing Day, I had to work on Boxing Day, but I spent a little bit of time with him before I had to do so. So there's that one. Fun little layers here. Softer layout because the photos were softer. These are some of the toys he had gotten for Christmas. Playing with some angles in my photo too. And then wrapping it up with something I did in 2014, which is a cluster of kind of all my favorite photos throughout the year. And it just says 2015 had its shares of ups and downs. As a family, we've grown stronger and closer together. Jackson went from a little baby to a full-blown toddler, learning so many new things. We are still happily living in our little basement suite, and Sean's job is still as steady as always. I started my new career and have learned a ton myself. My practicum got me a job right away, but by the end of the year I was ready for a change and a new office. I love being able to go on more adventures this year as Jackson was old enough to explore. We have gotten ourselves into a little routine that works perfect for the 3 of us. 2015 may not have been the best year ever, but my family is happy and healthy, and in the end, that's all I could ever ask for. Now bring on the new year. And in the new year, we find out about little Miss Nora. So there you have it. That is 2015. Thank you everyone so much for walking through this with me, and I will be back next Sunday with the start of 2016 for you. Like I said, this is a bit smaller. There are some pieces missing. I see that as I flip through it. Down the road, I'm sure I will eventually come to it. I'm not sure why I haven't documented his Halloween. I need to definitely get on that and make a little mental note to do so, and get that in this album. Thanks everyone. See you next week. Bye.